As I've gotten older, I'm 40 now, while also having stress eat away at my health, sleep has become difficult. Falling asleep, staying asleep, going back to sleep, waking up feeling rested, all of it. As I have been proactive in creating an environment conducive to sleep, including managing my stress, sleep has thankfully improved, outside of Adeline, my 1-year-old, waking me up, of course. I know I'm not the only one who has struggled with falling asleep, staying asleep, and waking up feeling rested. It's a common complaint of many of my clients and friends. What's funny is how simple it is to work with the body to improve your sleep. Simple does not mean it's easy, because changing your habits is always a challenge, but it actually is simple. So in today's episode, I'm sharing with you 3 strategies you can start tonight that will dramatically improve your ability to get tired, fall asleep faster, and improve your quality of sleep so that you sleep well and wake up feeling energized.
Welcome to the Therapeutic Food Solutions podcast. I'm your host, Marian Mitchell. I'm an integrative nutrition health coach, therapeutic diet expert, and founder of The Road to Living Whole. There are many different diets out there. It's hard to know which one is right for you with your chronic illness and autoimmune disease. In this podcast, I'm going to share with you the foundational pieces every single therapeutic diet out there shares, and also how to use the best one for your particular diagnosis. If you've been looking for a meal planning partner, help navigating the complicated healthcare system, and want to feel better quickly, I'm your girl. Grab your kombucha and notebook. Let's dive in.
Falling asleep and then staying asleep and waking up feeling rested is a luxury very few adults enjoy. It's really quite crazy to me how difficult it is. As a mom, I didn't sleep for the first 8 years after finding out I was pregnant with my first. And then once both of my kids started sleeping through the night, it took my body several months to learn how to sleep longer than 6 hours. Then I started having health problems like adrenal fatigue and hypothyroidism that then made sleep difficult again. But even without being a parent, I know so many adults who are professionals that have no kids who cannot sleep and are desperate for it. They have a hard time falling asleep, staying asleep, and or waking up feeling rested and refreshed. Instead, they're up late and then they're waking up around 2 or 3 a.m. and then their alarm goes off and they're groggy and take a long time to wake up. We are desperate for high quality sleep that rejuvenates and restores us. Now, before I share the strategies to improve your sleep, I need to explain a few potential causes that are hindering your sleep. Unfortunately, sometimes we are setting ourselves up for failure. So, one is blue light after the sun sets. Our sun emits a ton of blue light. Before the invention of the light bulb, we slept an average of 11 hours a night. We didn't stay up late into the night. When the sun sets and that darkness happens and there's an absence of blue light, it triggers our brain to start creating more melatonin. This increase in melatonin is what makes us tired and then keeps us asleep throughout the night until the sun rises. There's a bunch of blue light hitting our eyelids, and it triggers our brain to stop making melatonin and to raise our cortisol to wake us up. Now, in our modern society, we have light bulbs that make our home bright, and because they tried to get rid of incandescent light bulbs, we're using LED light bulbs, which emit a ton of blue light. We are on our computers, our TVs, our iPads, our phones, or whatever. All of this technology emits a large amount of blue light. So even though the sun has set, our brains don't know that. It's still thinking that it's the middle of the day. We're not working with the natural cycles that our bodies have been used to for millions of years. Number 2 is chronic stress. Stress is going to kill us all so young, you guys. Seriously. Stress impacts us in several different ways. It depletes magnesium, which is our relaxing mineral. It keeps our cortisol higher than is naturally possible because our bodies think that we're in danger and we need to be on high alert. So we can't sleep deeply when we think we're going to be attacked by a tiger or a neighboring tribe or something. Your body doesn't know the difference between a deadline at work and the threat of death. It just knows that you're stressed, which means you're in danger. So stress depletes essential minerals and it keeps our body on high alert. And after we've been on high alert for a really long time, our bodies can't make as much cortisol anymore. And then we start having all kinds of health problems, and it definitely impacts sleep greatly. Number 3 is hormone imbalances. When your thyroid isn't functioning optimally and your hormones are off, this creates havoc in our bodies and sleep suffers. So I am a big proponent of getting your thyroid and hormones checked. It's essential in my book. It's how I've discovered things and been able to resolve a lot of things that I've been dealing with, especially sleep. So big fan. Number 4 is alcohol use. Yes, alcohol can help you feel tired and fall asleep, but it hinders the quality of your sleep. Alcohol consumption over time disrupts your sleep patterns, leading to insomnia, fragmented sleep, and difficulty staying asleep. It suppresses your REM sleep, which is a crucial stage for dream formation and cognitive function and cleaning up all the junk that's been used up in our brain throughout the day. It's not getting cleaned up because we're not sleeping deeply. Alcohol worsens existing sleep disorders such as insomnia, but also sleep apnea, snoring, and restless leg syndrome. So if you're currently drinking nightly, maybe it's wine with dinner, or maybe it's a drink after the kids go to bed because you're so stressed out you can't relax, it's probably something you should look into cutting back. And then number 5 is drinking caffeine throughout the day. We push ourselves really hard in today's society. And oftentimes, because we're pushing ourselves unnaturally hard, we depend on caffeine to get ourselves throughout the day, whether it's coffee, tea, energy drinks. Maybe it's like an energy shot or, one of those little squeezy things with caffeine that flavors our water. If we're consuming caffeine after 1 p.m., it's very likely interfering with your sleep in some form. And if you're caffeine sensitive, like some people, you might have to cut yourself off much earlier. So if you are like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get throughout the day? Go listen to episode 14. I have some great stuff in that episode to help you keep your energy sustained throughout the day and so you can be productive without interfering with your sleep. Okay. So we've talked about potential root causes. There's other things too, like if your mattress sucks, because people don't like to replace their mattresses. They like to keep them for years and years and years and years, and they get uncomfortable. Maybe you keep your room too hot. Maybe you don't have curtains. There's a lot of stuff that impacts sleep. Okay. And that's all stuff that you can explore, right? Like room darkening curtains, keeping a temperature that's conducive to sleep. Maybe it's time to look at your mattress and pillows. So on top of the basics, there's other things that impact sleep, which I just listed. So keeping all of that in mind, there's still stuff that you can do right now that will help you sleep. No matter what else you have going on, there are 3 things that can help, okay? And this is about working with the way our bodies function so that we can get tired sooner and sleep better. Number 1 is dimming the lights at least 30 minutes before your bedtime, your desired bedtime. As I mentioned, bright lights tell our brain that the sun is still up. And so when the sun is still up, our body is not going to produce the amount of melatonin we need to get sleepy. This makes getting tired difficult. And this impacts kids the most. So if your kids are going bonkers, are fighting sleep really hard, this can be a huge factor at play. I hated lamps for the longest time. It's visual clutter to me. However, lamps allow for dim light. You can put a dim light bulb in there, and I've heard a rumor that incandescent light bulbs might be coming back, which would be so great for our sleep quality. But lamps allow for dim light. So getting a low voltage, if you can, incandescent light bulb in the room that you guys are hanging out in, and then turn off the lights throughout the house. The dim light triggers the brain to increase melatonin, making you sleepy. So starting tonight, dim the lights a bare minimum of 30 minutes before you want to go to bed, but ideally at least an hour. And if you can, even earlier would be great. Okay. Number 2, stay off all electronics an hour before you want to be asleep. This is a difficult one. I'm right there with you because my kids go to bed and I'm like, yay, uninterrupted time to catch up on the news and to research some health stuff and to watch some reels mindlessly so that I can just kind of chill, right? It's our time to catch up. But the blue lights from technology and the mental stimulation make it really difficult for your brain to turn off and to quiet and to create melatonin so that we can get tired and fall asleep. So instead, I would challenge you to read, stretch, pray, journal, sew, maybe chit-chat with your spouse if that's an option. But if you're still going to use technology, because that's just kind of how life is, install blue light filters on all of your technology. And if you like to watch TV, invest in blue light blocking glasses so that your brain is like, okay, there's no blue light coming in, I can get tired. There are some great ones on the market. You don't have to get the most expensive, just research. They'll tell you the science. And you can try them out. But blue light filtering products, whether it's apps or glasses, are going to be huge, along with creating a dark environment, right? And number 3, take magnesium 30 to 60 minutes before your ideal bedtime. Magnesium is a relaxing mineral. Magnesium glycinate helps you relax enough to fall asleep and stay asleep longer. If you've been listening to this podcast for any length of time, you know that my son had a very difficult time falling asleep when he was super young. He was 5 years old and he'd go to bed at 8 and he would be up playing from 1 to 3 a.m. and then we were up at 6 a.m. I started applying a magnesium lotion to him. I applied it to the bottom of his feet and on his belly. I don't like the spray because it's concentrated salt water and it can get itchy. And my son preferred the lotion versus taking it internally because for some people, magnesium internally can cause loose stools. It doesn't do that to me, so I can take it any other form. But magnesium was a game changer for my son. He was able to fall asleep and stay asleep throughout the night, and he woke up feeling refreshed, which was really great for him learning, right? And this magnesium really does help with falling asleep and staying asleep. It's helped for so many of my clients and friends, my parents, and my own direct family. These 3 alone will have a huge impact on your ability to fall and stay asleep. Now, what about those of us who are struggling with maybe adrenal fatigue, thyroid depletion, hormone imbalances, or just have a really stressful life and cannot, for the life of us, turn off our brains? There are some things that can help. Number 1, laying on an acupressure mat for 5 to 15 minutes right before bed. The external stimulation of an acupressure mat and laying on it helps switch the nervous system from fight or flight to rest and repair. It also helps tense muscles relax and stimulates blood flow. And this blood flow brings oxygen throughout the body. The relaxed muscles allow for you to relax, feel relaxed, and fall asleep. It is my favorite tool to use myself and for those who are struggling with a high stress life and or adrenal fatigue to get the nervous system to relax. It does not take a lot of time and it feels really good after the initial pokes of an acupressure mat. And I do have an episode on it. I don't have the number on hand, but I do have you can, use the search bar and look for acupressure mat and it'll bring up that episode so you can learn more about it. Option number 2, for those of us who just cannot turn off our brains, breath work. Taking long, slow, deep breaths for 2 minutes helps massage the vagus nerve and signals our bodies that we are safe. It's another tool to help our nervous system switch from fight or flight to rest and repair, like the acupressure mat. And oftentimes you can combine the two for like a double whammy, right? So an example would be you breathe in for 4 counts and then you exhale for 6 to 8 counts. That long exhale signals to the body that we are safe and it can relax. So you breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and then exhale slowly for 6 to 8 counts. And you do that at least 4 times, but if you can do it for the full 2 minutes, maybe just set like an app, a timer or something just to kind of help you figure out what that feels like, can do wonders for helping you relax, but also for stress resiliency throughout the day. It's actually really cool. And number 3, keep a gratitude journal. A gratitude journal helps our brains see the good in our days, and it helps us feel safe and happy. And then just journaling in general helps get all the noise that's in our brain out of it and onto paper so that our brain can let it go. I'm a huge fan of journaling. Actually, I'm a huge fan of everything that I'm telling you. I do it all. I don't get to journal as much anymore, but I do miss it. And when I'm really stressed out, I definitely do it more, and it's super, super helpful. It really is that simple. Our brains need to know that it's not daytime anymore. So we need less blue light, and we need it to be darker so that we can start getting tired. We need less mental stimulation. So swapping our technology and TV for reading and journaling and other quiet activities allow our brains to slow down and prepare for sleep. And then a little help from our relaxing mineral friend magnesium can be the icing on the cake for improved sleep. Commit to giving this new routine 30 days to really see and feel its impact on your sleep, and I guarantee things are going to improve.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you found this episode helpful, would you do me a favor and help others find it by leaving a review, sharing a screenshot on social media, or sharing the link with a friend? By you sharing what you've learned, others are able to find this podcast and join our community. Be sure to check out my website, www.roadtolivingwhole.com, for over 160 delicious recipes, a variety of meal plans, and a blog packed full of even more healthy living tips. If you'd like to learn more about how to work with me as your coach, you can schedule a free consult through www.roadtolivingwhole.com/health-coaching/. Until next time, friend. Bye.